Darktide was released in the November of 2022, so as of the recording of this video, less than a year old, and it's the spiritual successor to the Vermintide games. The game was developed by Fat Shark, and if you couldn't guess from its full game title, Darktide takes place in the grim dark future of the Warhammer 40k universe, in the hive city of Tertium. I think I'm saying that right, I might not be, I apologise if I'm not. And chaos is spreading, that's specifically of the chaos god Nurgle, and you gotta deal with it. You create a character that is imprisoned at the beginning of the game for reasons, heresy more than likely, but then due to a chaos attack on the prison, you fight against the chaos and then spend the rest of the game proving your loyalty to the Emperor, which you preach from the beginning anyway. So why you are imprisoned, I just don't know. I mean, the grim dark future of the Warhammer 40k universe is insane as it is, so you're just going to have to roll with it. There is story and cutscenes, although they are very sparse. You take on missions with different objectives and take on waves of different enemies. It's 4-player co-op, or you can play with bots if there's no one there, although I do find games pretty quickly with other players. There's various difficulties to challenge yourself, and you can level up, unlock perks, equip different melee and ranged weapons of ever-increasing gear score and rarity, and after getting to a certain point, you'll unlock daily and weekly challenges which reward a currency to unlock more weapons and cosmetics. Now, the cosmetic side of Darktide is pretty piss poor. However, the gameplay loop itself is a great time, dropping into a mission, kicking the smeg out of chaos crackheads, finding plasteel and diamantine, two collectible resources that are used to upgrade items via Tech Priest. There's also grimoires that you can collect to boost XP and rewards too, although if you are holding one, you can't hold like extra med packs or ammo caches, so there is a caveat to holding those. There are 14 missions in total to take part in, although it is worth pointing out that they are on a timed rotation, which does add some spice into what missions you'll play as at any given time. And in terms of, like I said earlier, of playing online with other people, I always find a game within 30 seconds of searching in the quick match, so the game is still very active. And if you enjoy a game with a great gameplay loop and a bit of grind, well, when I say a bit of grind, I mean Darktide has a bit of a slow grind, but if that's all gravy with you, then Darktide is definitely worth a bash, especially if, like me, you're a Warhammer 40k fan. Although I would suggest you pick it up for 20 quid or less. I've had an absolute whale of fun playing on this game. It's gory, the characters talk to one another and interact. The character I created is an Ogrim, so I'm this large guy that when I press F I can charge through enemies and knock them down. There are bosses that appear, like small bosses that appear randomly that require a lot of gunfire to take them down, and the missions are quite varied in that you have to either activate something and defend it, or you have to kill a boss, or you have to remove corruption. It's enough. It's not a game that you'd probably want to spend about 7 hours a day on, of course not, but if you're a Warhammer 40k fan and you like co-op PvE shooters with a bit of grind, it's not a looter shooter as such. There's some small elements of that in it, but overall Darktide is a fun time and one that I would highly recommend to people. Just don't go into it thinking that it's going to be the best game ever, and I don't think it's quite as good as Vermintide 2. Vermintide 2 is pretty cool. First Vermintide is still pretty cool, but with Darktide at the moment, there doesn't seem to be much in the way of like meaningful, chunky content, which is unfortunate, but I'm sure that is coming. But please let me know in the comments down below what you think of Darktide. Have you played it? Is it a game you're going to be giving a go? And thank you very much for watching.
Hello, someone.